All right, so we've just had a video on how to manage the soundboard on a given Sunday. You know, all the tasks. If you didn't get a chance to watch that video, definitely go back and watch that one. It has a lot of key information about all that needs to happen to run the soundboard. But that's just one of the key areas that we have on any given Sunday. The other thing is around managing ProPresenter and the camera angles. So this video I just wanted to focus on ProPresenter and the camera angles here and making sure that we get everything set up for Sunday. All right, so first thing in the morning, you're gonna notice that we typically have the computer still turned on. At least we prefer to, because you might have some updates that need to happen on the computer, virus scans, that kind of thing. So we try to get those done during the week, let the system do its updates as needed. That way Sunday morning we're all ready. If it's turned off and you have to turn it on, any updates that it has to have are typically going to be done immediately, and it can end up slowing your presentation and everything down in the morning. So we want to kind of get that out of the way during the week. So at this point, if I go ahead, and this might be a little bit close as I'm zooming in, but so if I jump over here, what you'll see is some of the icons kind of already saved out here. And I know that this is really kind of hard to see there, but you'll see where, again, ProPresenter, I'm gonna try to show it here, but ProPresenter is this icon right here. And we go ahead and turn on the browser as well. So if I go ahead and click on the link here, but you do also have ProPresenter at the top here, along with the Microsoft Edge icons there. All right, so either one doesn't matter to me. If you go ahead and start that up, so ProPresenter coming up there, and again, this camera is very zoomed in. I can't change it there, but what you'll notice is once ProPresenter starts up, you end up seeing our command center here that has all the different angles and things that we want to be able to see on a given Sunday there. All right, now this monitor up at the top is connected directly to the camera, so that one will always be showing just the camera angles there, which I prefer because you can obviously see when I'm sitting down, I can't see the podium there. So I definitely want to be able to have something that is fixed solely on the camera angles there. This will actually show you what's being shown on the streaming, but it has all the other slide text and things like that on there. But you also notice here that it shows you what's going to be shown on the projector. So right now the projector is up, not turned on. To turn it on, it's, let's see if I can show you there, the on button. Oops, brightness there, there's the on button right there. Okay, all you do is turn that on, and then to be able to bring down the projector, over here you got all these different wall outlets and things, but right here, that cream colored one is, and if I zoom in there, you'll see where it's screen, okay? And again, what you'll see is where it has an up button, a stop button, and a down button. So all you gotta do in the mornings, is, if it's not already down, just go ahead and hit the down button. And I generally will let it go all the way down to, you can still see just the very bottom of the circle there, okay? And then once it's there in that position, you can go ahead and hit stop, okay? And that'll make sure your projector is all set there. So that's what you're gonna be seeing through here, is what's gonna be shown on the projector. Then down at the very bottom here is the stage display. Stage display is, I'm gonna try to come over here on the wall, but you see where we got this nice TV here, okay, on the back wall. Okay, trying to show you there. That's for all the people who are doing worship leading and things like that. They can actually see things. Now, one thing that I always tell the people is, as long as they can see the clock on the TV, that the TV is turned on. All right, if they're not seeing what they expected, but they at least can see that, then it's something else. But if you don't even see the time on the TV, then maybe the TV is turned off or something. All right, or it could be an issue with the cable. So just a quick little reminder there. And then obviously the streaming, this is what's going over to YouTube. All right, and then down at the bottom here where it says inactive, that's going to change once we start the streaming. Okay, and I'll show you that in a little bit there.
So you've just started up ProPresenter and you want to be able to see what all is needed on a typical Sunday morning. So the first thing you want to do is obviously identify the playlist, which should already be created for you. The worship leaders should be going out here and adding all of the songs, and if they're not, that's okay. We can handle that on Sunday mornings, which we actually have created a video for you to be able to watch, and we'll get into more specifics on how to build that playlist. But for now, we're going to assume that it's already been built, and all we've got to do is come out here and select it, and you notice that we have, in the very beginning, Parkway logo. So from here, one thing you'll notice, and I'm going to change this over to the control screen so that you can see all of the different angles and views. But what you'll notice is that it's showing, at least for the projector, as well as what's going to be shown on the streaming. All right? And that's what we actually want to be able to show at the very beginning of the service. So starting at around 9:55, we should actually have this set so that we can have that being shown immediately at the beginning of the streaming. And then at the start of worship, around 10 o'clock, when the worship leader gives the okay, we're going to go ahead and click on the slide here for Start Worship, which will remove, obviously, the logo from the projector, but also switch over to the camera angle. And from there, we can start to get into all of the slides based upon the order of worship. Now, what you'll notice is for here, each of the songs already has the words set up for you. And as soon as you click on them, you're going to end up seeing the words over here on the live stream, as well as what it's going to be looking at on both the stage display as well as your projector. Well, what we got to make sure of is at the beginning of practice, before worship, we need to be going through these slides just to confirm that even though somebody else would have set it up, that they haven't missed a particular slide, or maybe they're repeating the chorus or tagline. So we actually want to make sure that we go back and get a chance to confirm all those during practice. So we'll go through each of the slides as they're practicing just to make sure the words are correct, the order is correct, etc. So that's going to be a typical practice just before worship that we'll go through. And so this should have all of them out here already. And a quick thing that you can do is obviously confirm it with the bulletin, which what I've done here for this video is at least taken a snapshot of a typical bulletin. And what we'll show here is, I'm going to switch it back over to projector so that it makes it look a little bit bigger. But what you'll actually see here is we can confirm which songs are being sung and are they in the correct order. But then the other thing that we want to confirm during practice is setting up the camera angles. So I've actually put numbers out here for each place in here where I think, yeah, we definitely want to make sure that we're looking at that correct camera angle. Now, what angles are those? Well, I've actually given you a quick little screenshot as well of all the camera angles. And so right now, the way that we've set it up is we've made a quick change recently to show just the stage center, where before we were using 6, which was showing the piano and singers. It was a little bit off-centered, but we were able to include the pianist in the video as well. But anytime that we're not using a pianist, my preference is to use the stage. Okay. Now, what does that look like? Well, just for your purposes there, right now, what you're seeing there is center stage. But if I wanted to actually click on 6, which includes the piano, then it'll switch over to including them. And you can kind of see that it kind of sets it off center there. So 7 will at least do it and have it more center stage. Better look there. Then during, obviously, the Lord's Supper, we might want to switch down to more of the table. Okay, unfortunately the table is not there, right? So somebody's moved it for right now. But normally you would end up seeing it there. And I'm just moving things around a little bit, but that would be where the table view is. Podium, obviously a little bit more zoomed in, or even the closer up zoom in. So angles of the cameras, I kind of leave it up to individuals as to which one they like, but that'll give you a good idea of some of the different angles there. And we have this information sitting out for everybody to be able to look at here in the booth. So that's the typical angles that you might end up being able to use. All right. So all those are kind of the pre-worship that we kind of go through, making sure that the camera angles are identified within the bulletin, and have those all set on here. That looks great. So now what we can do is start going through and jumping through each of the individual worship songs as they're laid out here. And one nice thing that I always like to make sure of is that people are used to the macros. Again, I've got a whole video talking a little bit more about the macros, but you'll see the little M up here, which really tells you that this one has macros on it. And really the big thing for those macros is that it's going to change things like the camera angle to video versus the actual camera, or if it's needing to clear. So you'll notice here that we have a clear all option. And that really is anytime that I'm on slides and at the end of a song, I want to make sure that I no longer see the words. So all I've got to do is click on the clear all, and it'll make sure that it clears all of the text or anything else that it's utilizing there. And those macros actually have some of that built in, such as this one here. If I right click on it, you can see that it's using the clear all showing camera, this one here. Whereas this one, when I look at it, it is showing the camera on streaming. Show camera on streaming there. So each of those macros does something different, but the key thing here is that for each of the songs, you want to make sure that at the beginning of the song, we have it set to showing the camera view, and it's cleared everything else out. So we definitely want to make sure that this show camera streaming is set there. Easiest way to do that is if I remove it real quick, I can just drag that over it. And that way if I was looking at it, well, when I click on any other slides, you notice that it still has that image of the logo because it didn't run the clear and everything. So if I go ahead and jump back over to this one, that automatically runs that macro. All right. So I just want to make sure that for each one of the songs, we go ahead and have that show camera drag to the very first slide. And that way, if something had changed in the views or anything like that on previous slides, that this will automatically reset it for you. And so I do that for each of the songs. Okay. Each of the songs has that same one. You don't need it on every slide, just on the very first one there, just to double check and make sure that there was no other changes. All right, so you can see that on every single one of them. Then at the very end of the worship, we would end up wanting to click on that logo again, so that when we end the live stream, we end it with the logo as well. So that's actually really how to navigate through ProPresenter for getting it pre-worship, making sure that we go through all the slides, making sure that we also are double checking that the text is all correct. All that is done. Now, we've been talking about the live stream, but how do we actually turn that on? So up here at the top, you'll actually see where it says live. And all we would have to do is click on the start capture. All right. Now, I don't really want to do that right now because I haven't really confirmed what is YouTube set up as. So if I could do a quick jump over here to YouTube. So what you'll notice is when we switch over, which all I have to do is click on the live stream option here. We've got it saved on the Microsoft Edge browser. When you do that, we can see where YouTube is going to be receiving the live stream. But you notice there are a few things that we need to double check here. Right now it's set to last week, so I need to go ahead and edit this to show the 10th. The other thing you want to make sure of is that somebody hasn't been out here doing something that they didn't want set as a public. Maybe they set it as a private in order to do a private live stream. So we definitely want to make sure that we set this to public. And as long as that's done, we can go ahead and close out of there, save it, and now we're ready to receive that live stream. Now, for this purpose, I'm actually going to change this to private because I don't want people receiving that as I'm doing this demo. So I'll go ahead and save that for a moment. And now if I switch back over here and do the live, start capture, what you'll notice is immediately on my control screen, I see that we're streaming live now. It's saying active. And this just tells me how long we've been streaming for. And so if I go back over there to the browser, you can actually see that it is using that live stream from ProPresenter. And as long as I have a camera turned off, we're not seeing anything. If I went ahead and changed this to the start, now we're ready, and that should be what it's sending. As I switch back over here, that's what it's showing, and there is about an 8-second delay. So you'll notice that as you're verifying things on the YouTube. Now at the very end, once we are done with that, obviously again, I would end up selecting the Parkway logo so that that's how we end the live stream. And then all I have to do is stop capture. Now we're no longer sending it over. And when I look here, that's what it's seeing, but then all of a sudden, it's no longer receiving anything. All right. So all you would need to do is click on the end stream from YouTube. Go ahead and end it. And dismiss. And so we now would have that one sitting out there. Of course, this is a private one, so you won't see this one out on our YouTube channel. So that is pretty much it for going through the basic on ProPresenter on a Sunday morning. Again, we have some more detailed videos getting into creating playlists, how to switch between ProPresenter and PowerPoint slides. So if on a Sunday they need to be able to look at a particular presentation that wasn't pulled into ProPresenter, we got the ability to do that. So I think that should be pretty good from a basic standpoint. Definitely check out the other videos to get into more detail on importing, to set up your playlists, and all the other fun stuff. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you as a new volunteer.